Hello, I'm Dr. Tom, and I'd like to welcome you to another Friday update. And what a spectacular week this has been. As we've moved through April and May, and now more than halfway through the month of June, things are beginning to open up. And countries are beginning to open up, and there is more activity going on. That's the good news and the good news. The reality is that the numbers of cases and again, the media will report this as numbers are up. Numbers are going to go up because we're doing more testing, because everyone, as I have said multiple times, most everyone will be at some point exposed to this virus. So what do we do? What do we do? Here's what seems, now we have some history on our side. Now we're learning a little bit more. There's still a tremendous amount of information that is unknown about this situation. And what we do know is three things. What we do know is the fact that if you are over 60, you seem to be in a higher percentage age group that has symptomatology from this particular virus. It can be more severe if you're over 60. So if you're over 60, pay more attention. Just be smart. The second thing that we know is that this is a more lethal virus for people who are A, over 60, and B, have a pre-existing condition, meaning they have diabetes, they have COPD, they have some kind of an underlying, an additional health challenge, which has suppressed or decreased their immune system, which doesn't allow them to fight as well. And the third thing we know is that this virus is transferred rather easily, and being in close proximity to other people has the tendency to expose more people. So, and I'm talking close proximity, so let's just look at an example. It's most prevalent in nursing homes because nursing homes have a preponderance of people who are over 60, who have pre-existing health challenges, if you will, and they're in close proximity to each other. So that is the number one spot. Another areas are the prison systems, because again, it's a confined area. There's certainly plenty of stress and plenty of immune system challenge in the world of the prison system. So these are two of the highest percentage areas of people being impacted and affected. Remember, over 90% of the people have mild to literally no symptomatology about this. So do not operate in a place of fear. People are exposed to this. You may have already been exposed to it. You may have actually had this and not even ever known it. So as those numbers go up, do not allow it to push you into a spot of fear. If you're in those higher risk groups, be smarter, be safe, just make good decisions. Instruct people that you know in those groups of this advice. Keep them in a good, safe, and healthy place. That's the goal. Next, I'd like to talk to you about the new joins that we have, which continue to be at a spectacular pace. As a matter of fact, since we do so much in recognition inside this club, what we did was to make a special video of that, and we had our very own Joel Yaste do a spectacular job in reading each of the names from the new joins over the recent months. Here's the reality of that. I listened to, it takes a little bit less than 10 minutes to watch. I encourage you, I invite you to watch, even if you're not a new join, especially if you're not a new join. If you're an existing member of this club, I ask you to watch this video and listen to this video intently. I did. I listened to every single name and every single pronunciation of every name. And I thought about sending energy to that person at the time that the name came up. And I thought about sending that universal Jinn love, that brotherhood, sisterhood, that aspect of who we are and how powerful we are because we transmit and we receive. Therefore, those new members will receive that feeling, that particulate matter, that way in which they don't know what's going on. And maybe you get goosebumps and you don't understand consciously why. It's because this club can have a combined effort to send that energy to welcome you into this club. So I invite you to do so. I did, and it was a great feeling of picturing where these people are from and the growth that we're having literally from all over the world inside the Global Information Network. So please go back, check your emails. That video is available to you titled New Joins. Next, I would like to talk to you about another great message that we received recently from Kevin. KT sent out an email to each of us, or to us, and we're going to have it posted. There's a tab that you can click that you can do from the email that accompanies this, which will allow you to see the entire content and the context of this. He talks about perspective, and he talks about choice, and he talks about censorship, and those are three incredibly important aspects of your life right now. Who do you listen to? What do you choose? Who do you think is allowing you to see certain messaging and not certain messaging? It's a very well written email. I encourage you to watch that on the latest update from KT. I will tell you also that we are continuing. Remember, we are continuing through the end of this month, the end of June. We are gifting you the join fee, which means that in order to become a member of GEN, all you have to do is to begin to pay the $150 a month in order to be a full-fledged member. There is no join fee. We're waiving that through the end of the month. How long will it go on? I don't know. What I do know is that we're doing it till the end of June. And as a principle of GEN, we go as far as we can see, and then we'll reevaluate, and then we'll see further. And we'll make new steps, and we'll make new projections, and we'll look at the stats, and we'll listen to your input, and we'll make a decision. And that's that. Congrats to all of you who are new members again in June. It is a spectacular thing to watch, and we do this every single day. I'll tell you that in the world of GEN, we're also going to, I want to get to another thing. We're going to do the rally call on the 28th. The next Sunday, we will have a call. We will be sending out an email to you, so stay tuned to that and watch for that so that you'll be able to join us on that call. And we're going to have some great updates for you. We're very excited about lots of things that are happening in the world. I will tell you one of those things. When I mentioned we deal this on a weekly basis, we have a staff call, a team call, if you will. And we go over topics that are virtually everything to do with this club from everyone's different perspective, and everyone has different tasks and things to report on. And one of the things, another new aspect, another change on your website is the Share GEN bonus points are now available. It's up and running. It's something that has taken longer than we had hoped for, but like so many things in the technology world, the request is oftentimes a time differential in the receivables. What that means is that things typically take longer than you wish, oftentimes in the technology world. And so that has taken longer. We have it now. You are, those of you who are eligible to receive those GEN bonus points, they are listed. You can track them on the website under that Share GEN bonus points tab. I will tell you that today's lesson is about change. And really, our goal of our desire, if you will, of when change occurs around you to see the good, to look for the gold. There is always change going on. The club changes. The club gets new people. It has new energy. We have new information that happens on a weekly basis for you. We have the Terrific Tuesdays that come out, the Wellness Wednesdays that come out, and I've addressed some of these topics on those in those issues. We have the Member Development Series that comes out. We have some Financial Friday information that comes out. You see, these are new elements of the club, things that have never occurred before, have never happened before, because we're in a new unit of time. And so I'm going to ask of you to embrace that change. Because typically what happens is that change in your life, and even what I have observed as a practicing physician, change is even more difficult the older people get. It's more difficult for them to change. And I'm saying, learn from the change, learn from the opportunity. Are you making better decisions? Are you acting differently? And who are you becoming in this change? You know, over the last, this weekend actually, will be the last time that, as an example of change, and this is pertinent because of the change toward technology. I have received there was a paper, the local newspaper here, which is a statewide paper actually, and then it has a local section in it. And originally it was called the Gazette, and then there was another rival paper that started up, and then later they merged, like so many of you around the country that have watched this, and the consolidation of the news media. And there's always been a print copy of that particular paper. As a matter of fact, as you know, I'm a huge sports fan, and this particular paper has one of the very best, it's one of the highest rated sports sections in the country. So I have always subscribed to this paper. As a matter of fact, when I went to chiropractic college in St. Louis, I had the paper mailed to me every day. So I would get it, it'd be 3 days later, back in the snail mail days. It'd be 3 or 4 days later, I would receive it because I could keep abreast of what was happening in the sports world because I'm a fan. And what's happening is that this week is the last printed daily edition of that paper. What they've done is they've gone to an online format to the point where they give you an iPad so you can read the paper in an iPad. Now, why am I sharing this story with you? Because it is just another way in which we see the world shifting and changing. And the reality is that more people will read the paper online. It will be more economic for them to. And the beauty of that for Jen is that this is what we've been doing for over 10 years. For 10 years, we have found a way to be able to disseminate information around the world digitally. The world is changing. Embrace it. Some people say, I don't like to read books virtually. I'd rather feel the paper. That's okay. When you can do that, do that. The reality is the numbers of digital downloads far surpass the number of printed books that are happening in this day and age. It's a change. Embrace the change. You might as well get involved with the change. And lastly for this week, I would like to talk because this Sunday is Father's Day here in America. And whether you're in America or you have Father's Day celebrated on this same weekend around the world, or you celebrate it on a different day, it's always a great day to celebrate Father's Day. I was so blessed to have a spectacular father, an incredible father. And I know some of you are in that same category, and some of you still have your fathers physically present on this planet with you. Some of you do not. We can still pay homage to those gentlemen that raised us and that formed us and that molded us, and they showed us some things, and we learned some things from them to do, and we learned some things from them not to do. Father's Day is different than Mother's Day. That is just an incredibly special situation. Well, this is the father's turn at a national day, a holiday, if you will. And so as you get together, whether you're getting together as the father or as the son or as the daughter, or if you have multiple generations of your family that can get together, be smart, be safe. Enjoy yourself, laugh, tell some good stories, share some moments of what has happened in your life over the last year. Put a positive spin on it. Look for the good, see the gold, find it. It's there. It's there for you. You see, fathers are so important to these societies because in that father you can find strength and guidance. As I said, you'll find some things that you choose to follow. You find some things that you choose as a mentor. You find some things that you would like to emulate. And you also see some things that you would say, I wouldn't do it that way. And that's okay too. Some of you may not have had a good relationship with your father. Some of you may be estranged from your father. Maybe this is a time to reach out. Maybe this is a time for healing. Maybe this is a time to reevaluate some of your thought processes and some of your beliefs, quite frankly, because beliefs, by definition, are just beliefs. They're not facts. They typically are someone else's opinion that you have adopted, and now you made it yours. And sometimes what happens in life is that we get caught up in defending our belief so much that we create blind spots and we fail to see what's really going on around us because we're so busy justifying our position on a belief. I invite you this week to look for those blind spots. Approach this weekend with just a little bit different attitude, a little different perspective, a little less resistance to change, because change is coming. Change is happening all over the planet. It is an energetic shift. It is something that sometimes, it's an interesting feeling because sometimes inside of you, all of a sudden the thoughts and feelings and beliefs that you've had for so long, you think, well, no, why do I feel that way? I invite you to look inside. I invite you to ask yourself the questions. Are my positions on these beliefs allowing me to accomplish my goals and my desires and ultimately my dreams? Reevaluate it. It's time for a checkup, a little checkup from the neck up. Take a moment. Get in a quiet space. Take a moment and ask yourself, can I be a better person? Can I be a better father? Can I be a better son? Can I be a better uncle? Can I be a better person? Can I, in fact, embrace some change that will allow me to share with others and those around me and those in my sphere and my circle of influence and those that I regularly transmit and receive from? Can I improve us? And what I've learned is that the very best way to improve us is to begin by improving me. It's to improve the person in the mirror. So as you're together with your family this weekend, if you will, I ask you to think about that. What can I do to accomplish more of my dreams and my goals and my desires? And are my actions congruent with that? And am I on the path? You see, in order to embrace the change, we must be the change. In order to embrace the change, we must be the change. And in order to be the change, you have to begin. You must begin. You must begin. We must begin. I'm Dr. Tom. I hope you have a spectacular beginning to your weekend. I'll talk to you next week.